Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to today's episode. It is a little bit of a heavy topic. Now, I realize I have a couple of different kinds of listeners here with me today. I'm going to have my regulars. I love you. I am so happy that you tune in every week. And this episode, whether or not you are dealing with substance abuse in your home, is going to be helpful. And if you're a listener who found me because of a search for a specific topic, and this is a new introduction to me and to my world, welcome. I am so happy that you are here, and I am so sorry that you found me because you are looking for substance abuse information for your teenager. That is not a fun situation to find yourself in. Any way that you are listening to this, I want you to know I'm glad you're here. I'm going to give you some really valuable information today. And this is a sister episode to next week's episode. Both are addressing self-destructive things that our kids do. Today is drugs. Next week, I am going to speak about cutting and self-harm. They have a lot of overlap, but I think they also need some distinction. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up that we've got a sister episode. Sometimes I like to do episodes that tie into one another because I like to keep topics really clean and I like to keep episodes short. Disclaimer, as always, if you or your child are not capable to fulfill basic daily tasks, if you can't stay above float, so to speak, that is a huge indicator that it is time to get some help. I often hear parents in my life, personal and professionally, complaining about what their teens are doing or not doing. Like they can't ever get up and get to school. Sometimes their teens are at a non-functioning point. This, my friend, is the point to step in. If you are here with substances, I implore you to seek professional help. They may not appreciate you doing that now, but as a parent, we need to have our kids' backs, especially when they aren't capable to. So let's jump right in. Why do our teens use substances? And I say substances and drugs interchangeably. It can be alcohol. It can be any upper or downer that they are getting their hands on. There's only one reason. A lot of parents will say it's peer pressure or to be cool. They'll say it's a lack of self-respect or an inability to understand the gravity of their decision. It's to avoid uncomfortable emotions like feeling anxious or sad or angry or shameful or bored or stress of school. Some parents say it's because their kid is curious and they like to experiment and have fun and party. Some parents say that their kid is rebelling, that they don't want to be told to do, and if they told their kid to go to church, then they would go do the opposite. All of these things may be true, and your kid might even tell you, well, I was just curious, or I was really sad, or my friends wanted me to, and it looked fun, and I wanted to fit in. Those are all true. And it all boils down to one reason. Ironically, it is the same reason why you do all of the things you do, and I do all of the things that I do, and all the other people do what they do, day in and day out. Sensations. We are all seeking sensations. There are two kinds of sensations that we all try to either experience or avoid. Physical and emotional. Physical sensations can be like food or sleep or physical contact, whether that's sexual or non-sexual, pain, and the physical sensation of substances, like the physical sensation of food or a hug or a good nap. Substances can be a physical sensation. They can also help us with emotional sensations, feelings, both physiological and spiritual. The dopamine of winning, the shame of being rejected, an answered prayer, the craving of a guilty pleasure. These are just some emotional sensations that we try to seek or we try to avoid. And it is through the desire of both physical and emotional sensation that we make all of our decisions. I want you to look at the reasons that you do everything. Everything. What you choose to eat, when you choose to sleep, how you speak to yourself or other people, what books to read, activities that you enjoy. It is to avoid or to intentionally experience a physical or emotional sensation. All humans are the same. Now, we have differing values, and those values that we each have inform the sensations that we choose to desire and those sensations that we choose to avoid. And then those desires to feel and avoid inform how we move about our day. Let me just use my day as an example because I understand my own headspace more than anybody else's. I am not a morning person. I do not like to wake up, especially not to an alarm. But guess what? I set my alarm every morning, bright and early, because I like the sensation of getting up with my kids. I like the feeling of connectedness with them more than I like the sensation of sleep. And so I get up early, even though I don't want to, so that our family can have breakfast together and read scriptures and have prayers, and then everyone is off to the races, to school and work, and I get to connect with them before anybody else does, and I like that. And then I go work out most days. Now, another thing about me, I don't like to work out. I'm pretty physically lazy. I'm tired, and I don't like to sweat. But the sensation of being physically strong when we're doing family activities, I do like. And I like that it helps me sleep better. I have worked out in phases, and when I don't move my body for several days in a row, it messes with my sleep. I like the sensation of really good sleep. And I value how I feel in my physical body for the other 23 hours of my day more than I value how I feel in my physical body for that 1 hour of working out. So I work out. Then I get home, I clean myself up, anything else I need to do, and I get to work. I create podcasts, I coach clients, I think of ways that I can help you, I write emails, I respond to emails. I like helping others, and I love families and relationships. This, for whatever reason, is a God-given value that I have that I love. It makes me so happy to see parents making changes and forming better relationships with their kids, because I know how bad it sucks to be on the other side when you don't feel like your kid likes you and you feel like you're failing, and it ruins all happiness. At least it does for me, again, because I value so much families and connectedness. This is a core value of mine, to contribute. So my sensations that I seek align with that value. Then I get my kids, I make dinner. I sometimes work some more, maybe walk the dog, watch a show with my family, whatever that looks like, that feels good, that gives me a good sensation of having fun with my family. And I like to go to bed early. I like the sensation of falling asleep together with my husband, having those few minutes where we're talking uninterrupted, unless somebody texts. Okay, this is a secret. You can't tell anyone. This is not part of my notes, but I'm adding it in. It really bugs me when people text when it's just my husband and I in bed. And it's usually the same people. And I always want to respond because of sensations. So the anger wells up in me when somebody's texting my husband at 9:30. And I grew up, I would call sometimes my best friend as a little kid, just completely oblivious. And my best friend's mom was so nice and she was so good with boundaries. And she would say, please don't call after 9 p.m. And so I grew up thinking it's rude to call after 9 p.m. And people text and call after 9 p.m. And it really makes me mad. And so that sensation of not wanting to be interrupted, I've never done this yet, but I want to. I want to respond. If you text after 9, you will be interrupting one of 3 things: sleep, sex, or a conversation with my husband that you weren't invited to. I haven't done it yet. I think my husband would be mortified. But because that is a core value of mine, having that time together, I want to avoid anger from texts and I want them to stop, just stop. And so I haven't acted on it yet, but I talk about it a lot when it happens. Okay, back to the scheduled program. Why do I spend a couple of hours every day doing things that I don't like working out? Or I'm so tired of deciding what to make for dinner every night. Are you in this as well? But I do it. I decide what to make and then I do it, even though my dream is to just have dinner appear on the table like it used to when I was a kid. That's amazing. Our kids don't even know how good they have it. And sometimes they help with dinner and sometimes I let them be in charge of dinner. But why do I create a sensation that I don't like intentionally? Like, it's time to make dinner. Because I like the reward of feeding my family healthy food and I like that time together. My friend, our values line up with the sensations that we seek. And if we're doing things that we don't think are aligned with our values, which happens, this is called people pleasing. I help my clients with this all the time. It's because you have a hidden value. And that hidden value is to not feel rejected and to not risk people's displeasure with you. And so you undermine your value for the fear of upsetting another. But that's a different conversation. Our kids are the same. They do the same thing, whether it is an overt value or a hidden value like people pleasing, like peer pressure, to be cool, a lack of self-respect. When we look at all these reasons, again, I'm going to say these same reasons I listed before: peer pressure, a lack of self-respect, to avoid uncomfortable emotions like feeling anxious, sad, angry, shame, boredom, stress, out of curiosity, to experiment for fun, to have a party, or to rebel because they don't like being told what to do. You have to ask yourself, what sensations are they seeking when they choose to participate in substances? Are they avoiding shame? Are they avoiding anxiety? Are they looking to feel accepted? Do they feel like they can never please you, so they decide to scorn you? You know your kid, and I know that if you pay attention to them, you will know what sensation they're avoiding or seeking. And I want to give you a little hint. It is in direct response to one of 2 things all humans seek all the time. Number 1, am I good enough? Am I acceptable, lovable, worthy? And if they don't think the answer is yes, they could be turning to substances, especially if they feel rejected by their family, by their parents. And then the number 2 concern is This is not what my life was meant to be. So if your kid thinks that they're supposed to be liked, that they're supposed to have really great talents that are admired, that they're supposed to be loved better, that they are supposed to be more brilliant and more successful, they are seeking a sensation to appease that unfulfilled expectation of what their life was supposed to be like, and it's not. If you figure out the real reason, in other words, the sensations that are motivating them, then you're going to have more empathy and clarity as to how to help them. One mom that I know, she couldn't get her son to stop smoking weed. She even just asked him to do it outside so that their house didn't smell like weed, and he couldn't even do that. They took his bedroom door off. They took his car and phone away. Turns out he's got terrible anxiety. That's what you want to address. You want to figure out what your kid is in response to. Am I good enough? Is their life what they wanted it to be? What sensation are they running from or trying to create? There was an interesting study done with rats. They put rats in 2 different environments. One, they had basic food and water and cocaine. And that was it. They didn't have anything that was comfortable. They didn't have anything to stimulate them in positive ways. And they all killed themselves by pressing the lever for cocaine. Then there was a second set of rats, and they put them in rat paradise. All of their needs were met, not just physical, not just food and water, but they had stimulating things. Most of the rats tried the cocaine, like once, and then they never went back to it because they were happy. Not only their physical needs were met, but their emotional needs were met. If you solve for your child's happiness, the drugs will be easier to tackle. You have to figure out the one reason, the one sensation, or maybe there's a few of them that are motivating them towards that substance to either create the sensation or avoid the sensation. Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. All right, the second question. How can parents best help their teens struggling with substances? By helping themselves. I've got a few points. Number 1, this is probably the most important one. You have to know the difference between clean and dirty pain and try to stay in clean pain as much as possible. It's not going to be 100%, but clean pain is where you can help your child the most. Let me explain. Clean pain can feel like the loss of innocence, the grief of your child struggling. This is healthy. No parent is going to say, sweet, this is exactly how I expected my kid's life to go. I'm so excited. This is amazing. No, it makes sense that parents would be devastated. It makes sense that their hearts would be broken. This is the pain you want to stay in. I know that it is so much more painful than feeling angry or betrayed. but that's slipping into dirty pain. And if you're honest with yourself, when you get angry, when you start blaming, when parents want to punish and control, that is out of dirty pain. Beating yourself up isn't helpful. How could you have known? Now you do. You can't go back in time, and hating their friends isn't going to help your kid. I know finding the villain in the story feels really important. And sure, if there's a drug dealer or somebody to put in jail, by all means, take any legal actions that you feel are helpful. But in your heart, the anger and the hatred and the blame and the shame and the punishing feelings, those will destroy your soul and they don't help your kid. So you want to stay in the sadness, in the heartache, in the grief, because that is where you can mourn and move through. And of course, this is easier with professional help. Whether it's me or somebody else, if you're in the thick of this, please find somebody that you feel comfortable with getting professional help so that you aren't alone. It's really hard to stay out of dirty pain when you're novice at this. Feel the feels. Get somebody in your corner to help you do this. Number 2 is beware of Bruno. Several years ago, we were in the thick of big struggles at our house, and it was right when the Disney movie Encanto came out. And we likened future telling to Bruno. Remember the character Bruno, and he was ostracized because he would foretell, people growing a gut and goldfish dying and losing hair and all the things. You have a Bruno in your brain, and it will tell you the very worst future outcomes. We can never get rid of Bruno, but we cannot listen to Bruno. When your brain is playing out your kid's future as certain, that's Bruno. Don't listen to him. When Bruno pops up and he's telling us that they're going to die, that they're going to become a drug dealer, that they're going to end up in jail, that they're going to live on the streets and they're going to steal everything from you. We all know people who this has happened to, and so it seems very likely that it will happen to us. And it might. But it also might go a million different ways. And that's what we want to look at when Bruno comes a-calling. Okay, so when Bruno says your kid's going to die or they're going to go to prison, we can say maybe they will, but it's not certain. And then we give all the other options. Maybe this is exactly what they need so that they can wake up and appreciate the life they have and get cleaned up. Maybe it will be okay. And in 10 years, this will all be water under the bridge. We don't know. Nobody knows the future, but your brain is going to try and convince you that it does. Other than giving us some things to chew on, to troubleshoot, maybe once in our brain, so we can say, okay, Bruno, if our kid does end up in rehab, here are some options. And then we can move on to other ways that this can go. We want to keep Bruno in check. Keeping us up at night, relaying the same horrid future over and over is not helpful. And then the last thing, just to reiterate, you need support. Again, I'm happy to support you. I've been part of many a team. If it's not me, that's great. Find somebody that you connect with that works for you and get this emotional support that you need, because this is not usually a short, and it's never a fun one, and it can feel very isolating and you don't know who to talk to and you're ashamed to say the things that are happening. Please get support. If you want to see if we are a good fit, I offer a free 30-minute consult call. We can chat. We can see how we could work together potentially. I have 3 ways that clients can work with me. One is just a monthly membership. The second one is weekly calls, and the third option is a concierge service. I only offer these 3 times a year for 3 clients. It's 6-month carte blanche, all the calls you need. We're basically best friends. Text, FaceTime, all the things to get you squared away in 6 months. And we can figure out which option is the best fit for you on this 30-minute call. And whether or not we end up working together, you're going to walk away with really helpful next steps on how to get you to your goal relationship with your teen. And I promise that this is even possible with substances. My friend, this is a heavy topic. Thanks for hanging out with me. Grab that call if you feel like it would be helpful, and tune in next week when we talk about the sister side of this same self-destructive topic. We'll see you next week, my friend.